All right, guys, we are officially started. Let me get some light on this situation. Number one podcast, billionaire in the making. That's me, Coach Jake. Hope you are too. Are you on that mission with me? Let's get crazy. Don't be a millionaire. We got inflation. We got to be billionaires. Oh, shit. You're from Germany. I love it. I love it, man. I wish I could speak German. I wish I could speak German so bad. I know very little German. I understand the subject-object relationship is sort of backwards from English. It's somewhat different. Anyway, glad to see you, man. That's awesome. So I'm guessing you have an MMA gym or interest in MMA from out in Germany. Yeah. Anyway, glad to see you on the call. Hello, everybody in Facebook and YouTube and everywhere else. Please say hi in the chat. Give me a number one. You can give me that little emoji finger. That's what I'm taking charge of. So that's how I'm going to represent it. So give me one of those in the chat if you don't mind. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a super weekend. I was missing my wife. She was out of town. So that was not a good part of the weekend. She was actually going and doing some business development with the Cardone Ventures group. I Pantera MMA says, I do BJJ. Awesome. Awesome, bro. Grappling is where it's at. Need to get you on that catch wrestling stuff next, man. You do it, you won't go back. Right? What do they say? Once you go black, you never go back. I got to figure out something like that for catch. Once you go catch, I don't know. I don't got nothing. Anyway, had a great weekend, despite the fact my wife being gone. Very proud of her going out and improving herself, getting with people that are better. You don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. That's your ego. That's your ego. And that's what I want to talk about today. It's about blind spots. How do you figure out what your blind spots are? Do you know what I mean? How do you get out of your ego's way and find out like where you need to be? All right. So I've been talking on and on ever since I started this podcast. Oh, Adam, dude, Adam's got it. Once you go catch, you win every match. Shit, dude. That's awesome. Send me an email. I'm going to send you something for coming up with that. I love it. Love it. I'm going to use that. I'm going to send you something. Remind me. Send me a DM. All right, Adam. That was awesome. Wait, I'm going to put you up on screen for that shit. Once you go catch, I'm going to leave that up for a second. I love that. That's a good one. I'll see you this weekend, right, Adam? So, in fact, I'm going to be in Pinion Hills this weekend for my Coach and Catch certification program. It's a very intensive program, but it's an accelerated program. It ain't going to take you 10 years to get a black belt. It's going to take you a minute to earn a coaching cert with me. But when you're done, man, you're going to be a killer. So I will see you, Adam. Dude, I'll bring you something. I'll bring it to camp for you, okay? Coming up with that. That's a good one. Once you go catch, you win every match. I like that. I'm going to make a t-shirt out of that shit. That's good. So anyway, proud of my wife. She is, yeah, dude, good shit. So proud of my wife. She's going to, she went to Arizona this weekend to go work with Cardone Ventures people on some business development stuff. Our mentor in that organization, Brandon Dawson, super great guy, super smart, way awesome on business. He was actually the reason I got involved with Cardone at all. So it was actually Brandon Dawson who kind of brought me in. And then I was like, oh shit, what is all this? I need to know everything. And now I'm like 10X certified by Grant Cardone, one of 66 people on the planet certified by Grant to teach and coach the 10X philosophy in business. Super excited about that. Adding that on to my 30 years of experience as a entrepreneur in multiple ventures, scaling and growing companies from fitness all the way to fintech, financial technology. So, yeah, proud of my wife. Had a great weekend, though, even though she wasn't here, mostly just hanging out with the kids. They wanted to go see Doctor Strange for the second time, so I took them on Friday. Multiverse of Madness. Did you see that movie? I think it had a great opening weekend, like top 6 ever, and then had the worst second weekend. A lot of people didn't like the movie, and I don't know if you saw it. I'm not going to give out spoilers. I thought it was good. I thought it was worth the price of admission. It's definitely a departure from the typical Marvel Universe movie, and I think that's why there was such a drop off in the second week. I think people expected it to have the exact same vibe of Endgame or even Doctor Strange 1. And I do think there was a problem. And I think I saw it twice, and so I have a bit. If you watch the first half, it is so much a Sam Raimi movie. It is just like any other Sam Raimi movie. That's not good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I don't know him. I really never liked his directing, honestly. Didn't like Evil Dead that much. I like Ash, the actor who plays him in the character, but never been much of a fan of Sam Raimi. I'm sorry, you know, whatever. It's like chocolate and ice cream. Some people might like him and other people don't. But it's very much a Sam Raimi movie. It's not like a typical Marvel movie until the second half. The second half, the movie fucking is kick-ass. It's amazing. There's a battle scene where they're at the where the magician's stronghold, wherever Doctor Strange learned and the Ancient One was and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not Kailash. I think of Kailash because that's where Shiva was, but it's like that, right? It's this sanctuary retreat in the Himalayas or some shit where Doctor Strange learns. Once they have the big battle there with the main bad guy and Doctor Strange and everybody, from that moment on, the movie gets super good. If you just show up late and miss the first half and show up at that part on, you'll love it. It was really awesome. It's really cool. There's this cool musical battle scene that is so awesome. There's a lot of great moments in this film. So we went to go see that second time. My kids love it. Then on Saturday, because I've got this event coming up, the 10X Denver 10X Business Bootcamp coming up, and so I took the kids out with. I'm gonna put up my banner here. There we go. 10xdenver.co. Check it out. You're gonna want to go to this. So this is gonna be the second one that I've run in Denver. It's fantastic. Now Grant Cardone's not gonna be there. Okay. And that sucks. I love Grant. Super charismatic guy, genius business guy. And you should definitely try to see him whenever you can. Okay. But the 10X coaching that I do, that I'm certified, allows me to teach his material. And so I'm going to be running a camp. Now, the upside is you get me. Now, you may not get Grant, but you get me. Okay. And not only do you get me, I'm bringing in 3 or 4 guests that were all on the GrowthCon stage this year. So it's going to be bomb. And the benefit, now the downside, Grant ain't going to be there. It's going to be me. It's his material and me delivering it and my friends that I'm bringing. However, the upside for you is that because Grant ain't there, I don't charge as much, and you don't have to pay the travel to Florida. You don't have to pay the flight, the hotel, all that kind of stuff, or the ticket item price for Grant because he's a rock star. I'm not saying I'm not a rock star, but I'm not on Grant's level. But I am one of 66 people on planet Earth that are certified by him to represent the brand. Okay. So get out, get tickets. Now, the cool thing is you come to 10X Denver Business Bootcamp, 10xdenver.co. You come to that. Not only do you get 3 days of sales, marketing, and scaling. This is like an MBA in a weekend. Okay. I'm not kidding you. Don't miss this. This is a fundamental for business literacy. You need to get here, okay, if you're serious about making money. But not only do you get 3 days, that's going to be like, 18 hours of training for one ticket, okay, and in one weekend. Additionally, the first 5 people that buy you are an executive, because there's 2 tiers of tickets, executive and VIP. Executive, you get a full month of business coaching with me, 1-to-1. That's a $500 value. Okay, group coaching. I'm sorry, it's not 1-to-1, it's group coaching. And if you're a VIP, you get 1-to-1, and that's a $3,500 value for the price of one ticket. So you get 18 hours of training plus a month. But you got to be one of the first 5 to sign up. That's going to be in about 6 weeks or so. I haven't really started the big push. Usually most people wait till 2 weeks prior. Those tickets will be gone. Just telling you. 10xdenver.co, not .com, like Colorado, Denver, Colorado. 10xdenver.co. Get, okay? Get, do it. Stop wasting time, okay? Well, I've talked about that ad nauseum on this show. Stop wasting time. You can get hit by a bus tomorrow or whatever. People are dropping like flies. You don't want to miss out, and you don't want your family to miss out on the benefits of this, okay? I'm serious. I don't know how else to let you know. But so the cool thing is Saturday, I took my youngest and my oldest, my middle boy, man, it's hard to get him away from the computer. He is like, he loves to code and to play games and mod games, and he's so deep into that stuff. So I let him go. I'm a person that manages the people's strengths. I ain't going to fight him and be like, oh, you can't be on the internet. Listen, the internet ain't going anywhere, and I want him to have a head start on everybody else, right? So all the kids, parents are like, get off the internet. My son is going to have all that mastered and be hiring those kids because he's going to be way ahead. Anyway, my other 2 kids, they have different interests. And so I took them out. We were canvassing to all the local entrepreneurs in our area. It's called Old Town. It's this little area. It's like the downtown area of our city, Arvada. And there's a lot of like small business owners there. So we were out there giving out flyers and whatnot. So it was a lot of fun. That was Saturday. And then Sunday, we had their cousin. I had a 6th birthday at Skate City, went out skating. I did not. No, I go out every once in a while, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm just not into skating. So I went and it was fun. Got to have fun watching them. Anyway, I'm real proud of my wife going this weekend. Okay. And the reason I am is because she went to go improve herself. She's a CEO of a tech company that she's worked for this company like over 20 years. And she is still challenging herself to learn, because that's something I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about blind spots. How do you know that you have a blind spot if you're blind to it? Now, I'm the kind of person that if my fly is down or I got a booger in my nose or whatever, I want somebody to tell me, because I got a blind spot. I ain't seeing it. And I would much rather have somebody just rip the Band-Aid off and have the awkward conversation so I could be like, oh, thanks. Or zip. So I'm not walking around making a fool of myself because nobody else would tell me, right? Now, as you get more and more powerful, you run this risk, right? There's a fancy parable called The Emperor Wears No Clothes. I think hopefully everybody's heard of that. Do you know the parable? The Emperor Wears No Clothes. You guys run around naked because everybody's just being a yes man to this guy and nobody's actually telling him, dude, you're getting sold bullshit. Okay? So how do you become aware of your blind spots? Well, first you have to just be aware that you have them. And everybody has them. Okay? So this is where your ego can be a no-go. And this is the hard part. I've been coaching people in business and grappling for a long time. Okay? And there is a spectrum of uncoachable and coachable. And people fall somewhere in between on that spectrum. I've noticed there are a few types. On the uncoachable type, there's what my coach used to call the schoolboy champions. Excuse me, I apologize. I've got these allergies and some stuff in my lungs, having a hard time getting it out. Now, the schoolboy champion, as my coach Billy would put it, is somebody who's had a few successes early on. But because of that, they think they know it all. That's a real problem. This is why they are schoolboy champions. You know that, you ever see Napoleon Dynamite, Uncle Rico? And he's sitting there replaying his high school days when he was playing football? Because that was where he peaked, man. Because that was where he was coachable. And then he stopped being coachable. Okay? I think sometimes the schoolboy champion stops being coachable because no other more complicated reason than they have not set high enough goals. Being a schoolboy champion was all they ever needed and wanted. They didn't want to be a national, world, universal, galactic, whatever, interdimensional champion. Okay? They didn't set big enough goals. So they just stopped. They're like, because they were just in this little world and they were getting enough accolades. And maybe they were doing it for the wrong reasons. So, I think the easiest part about becoming aware of your blind spots is actually actively being aware and open to the fact that you have blind spots and being coachable. And I think a big part of that is trying to be better and bigger, way more than you are. That's what I really like about the concept that Grant Cardone, about 10X. About setting these massive goals that might seem absolutely crazy and ridiculous to you right now. But the funny thing is as you achieve them, they become less and less ridiculous and you start like owning it. And maybe you start thinking your shit don't stink. And that's a problem. And this is what I'm talking about. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. If you're here's an easy way to tell if you have blind spots. You are routinely the smartest person in the room. That's telling you you're in the wrong rooms. You're in the rooms where you want to be the smartest person. Because I guarantee you there's always somebody better than you. There's always somebody better than you. You just may not know them. Even Olympic athletes. How many times have we seen it? Somebody goes all the way to the top in the Olympics and then they go turn pro and get hammered. It happens. Not all the time, but it happens. There's always somebody better. And part of this is because the other person was coachable. They didn't stop. They wanted more and more and more and more and more and more. Now, there's a couple things to this. One, it's motivating, keeps you humble, keeps you open-minded, keeps you learning. The other thing is when you set these huge goals like that, maybe you aim for the stars and you hit the moon. But if you were aiming for the moon, you may not have left the atmosphere, if that makes any sense. Right? So I think you need to really be open to this idea that you could have your fly down, that you could have a booger in your nose, okay? That you could improve. Stop settling. Stop just accepting life for what it is. Okay, yeah, that's great. That's great. If you want to go be the Buddha and sit under a tree and that's all you ever want to do in your life, awesome. Okay, I'm not going to bug you. But I'm addressing the people that don't want to do that want to make an impact. Okay, and help other people. Look at somebody like Elon Musk. That guy's running the Boring Company, SpaceX, Tesla, was part of PayPal. Like this guy is like massively is trying to buy Twitter. And I'm sorry, I think both left and right in politics are idiots. I'm sorry. I mean, both of them are stupid. To me, voting is like betting on WWE. Stupid. Okay. It's all work, fake fights. They go and party in the Hamptons together, or at what's the one Alex Jones went into? The Bohemian Grove or whatever. It's all a fake fight. Okay. But it's hard to not admit that there has been a lot of censorship and bias and nudging, I think is the way that they package the propaganda now. Nudging. There's a lot of that going on. And you know what? Elon Musk was like, hey, I am so rich because I work my ass off and I'm smart about it and I do all these things to be great and figure out the world and make an impact. And I don't like that. I'm just going to buy Twitter. And the funny thing is whether he actually buys it or it was all just a ruse, but he had some money to do it. The great thing about the ruse is now we're getting exposure. What he tweeted, the famous phrase, sunlight is the greatest disinfectant. The Temple of God, what's up? Good to see you. Let me give you a wave. Sunlight is the greatest disinfectant. So now, because he's going to be selling the Ryu at night, what's up, brother? Now that he's buying it, they've got to do all this due diligence and they've got to like show how many accounts or bots and tweets and fake accounts used to manipulate sock puppets. You can Google sock puppet. It's a whole thing in tech where fake accounts are used to create these narrative networks to nudge and influence people. All that's got to be opened up. All the right-wing accounts that were censored automatically got restored and they got all their followers back and stuff because he has to do this due diligence. And now they have to open it up because they're a publicly traded company. That was their mistake. They're publicly traded. So he's like, well, fuck it. I'll just buy you. Let's open up the books and see what you've been doing. So whether or not the purchase actually goes through, mission accomplished. But that's because he has the ability to do that. I don't have that ability yet. But that's why I am a billionaire in the making, because I'd like to be able to do that kind of shit. Right? You know, the thing is, people get it wrong about money. Money is neither good nor bad. Money is just an amplifier. So if you've got great qualities, the money is going to amplify that. But it's also going to amplify if you got bad qualities. If you right now spend all your money on hookers and blow, it's just going to get worse as you get more money. And that, if you do too much of any of that dumb shit, you're going to self-destruct. And we see it all the time. We see it typically with athletes and rock stars and people who first come up with money, and it amplifies these things, which then end up causing them to implode. Right? So that's another important reason to know your blind spots. Where are you weak? Where are you weak? Where are you manipulatable? Where are you self-destructive? Are you that guy? You get an extra $1,000, you blow it on hookers and blow. You get $1 million, you're going to blow it the same way. And you're going to self-destruct and implode. Look at the Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, this is one thing I don't understand. You know, now he's trying to be some sort of sales guru. That guy's got a negative net worth. He went to jail for unethical sales practices. And then he ratted out his partners to the FBI. Like, I would not be paying that guy any money to teach me anything, personally. He imploded because of his poor ethical behavior. I'm not saying I'm a saint. What I'm saying is that money is an amplifier. And you're going to get as much money and keep it for as long as whatever gets amplified allows you to in your own personality. So if you want to have that success, and maybe it's not money, maybe you want to be number one in a sport like wrestling or fighting or track or something. You need to be coachable. You need to know what your blind spots are. Now, as a coach, I am not a person that coaches to people's weakness. I coach to people's strengths first. Because that's where the biggest gains are going to happen, quickest. As a coach, I'm not your therapist. I'm not your buddy. I'm not. You've engaged me and hired me as your coach because it's implicit. A coach is about results. The word coach originally comes from like a coach, like a buggy, like a carriage, like a vehicle that carries you from one place to another. You don't want to buy a car because it makes you feel good. I mean, all that's later. You want to buy a car because it gets you from one place to another. And that's what a coach does. And that's implicit in the term. It's about results. It's about getting you from one place to another and how you get there. Now, different coaches, different carriages are going to get you there different ways. You could go buy a cheap coach, and it'll get you there, but it ain't going to get you there very fast, and it ain't going to be very comfortable, and it may break down on the way. But that's because you skimped, right? Because you bought it cheap. Or you could get a coach that's like a Learjet. That'll get you there super fast, in comfort. You don't even have to go to the TSA. That's even better than Tesla, right? Sorry, Elon. So my point is, you need to be coachable. You need to be open to these blind spots. And the only way you're going to be open to it is if you actively are aware of it. Now, that doesn't mean just take anybody's criticism. You need to be open to blind spots from people that have had success in getting where you want to go. Okay? That's where you should be open to blind spots. So I Pioneer MMA from Germany. What's up? I have a question about the use of catch moves in modern MMA. Could you please explain some moves or techniques that not every MMA guy has on his radar? Oh, fuck. I can't even watch MMA because I see all the missed opportunities. Now, most champions in MMA, the best combat base, this isn't controversial, this is backed up by the statistics, so I don't even want to argue this, is wrestling. Okay? Typically, folk style and Greco-Roman. Okay? Because they focus on the takedown and the ground. Got it? Now, they both have slightly different strategies. Greco has no below the waist holds. So it's a lot of different kind of throws. Folk style, freestyle can do single legs, doubles, attack the legs, ankle picks, sweeps, things like that. Okay. So first of all freestyle folk style is derivative of catch can. So right out the gate, we could say catch can is the superior style because it's derivative style, folk style, let's say in the United States, in the colleges and high schools, or internationally, freestyle is the dominant base for success in championships, okay, to win. Okay, I'm talking outside of any fucking narrative or bullshit. I'm talking about statistically winning. Wrestling is the best base. Now, catch specific things that are in catch that aren't in amateur wrestling are mainly the submissions. So the takedowns and the pins are already in folk style and freestyle. And they have their own that they've developed after catch, after it's spawned. And they have their own strategies for that. And it's fantastic. Okay. However, with catch can, there are submissions baked in. And, again, the two best guys, there's not many. So this is where I think people get their heads wrong. Jiu-jitsu is fucking everywhere. It is. Okay. And that's great. I'm glad it is. Because there was a time, I remember when I was first coming up in 94, when I went to UFC 2 in Denver, it was nowhere. And I had to move. I actually decided to move from Colorado to California so I could learn. Most people aren't that crazy, especially at 22 with no money, moving to the most expensive city in the planet, San Francisco, to learn. Stupid. But I was like obsessed. It was going to happen. I didn't give a shit. I was going to make it happen. Okay. But now it's fucking everywhere. Like jiu-jitsu today is what taekwondo was when I grew up. It's like everywhere. Everybody can do it. It's at every strip mall. It's cool. That's great. That's a wonderful thing. It's better than it not happening. Okay. But catch ain't that way right now. Catch is still a fraction of the size of jiu-jitsu. Because on the business side, and this is what I'm trying to change, on the business side, the Gracie family was very smart. They created the promotion of the UFC. It's, again, this is basic history for anybody who knows anything about the sport. Rorion Gracie and some partners created the Ultimate Fighting Championship back in 94. Now, Pancrase actually predates it. So Karl Gotch was, in my opinion, the true, and Funaki and Suzuki, the true creator, and Fujiwara of mixed martial arts as we know it today. But they were only in Japan. Okay, that's a small country compared to the United States. Super influential, super powerful, but just let's get real, not the same as the United States. So the Gracies were smart. And they did it here, and they booked it to make it look good for jiu-jitsu. And so it became this thing where it was like, oh my God, jiu-jitsu. Well, there's something in marketing that the first to market is very powerful. When you blow your nose, you don't say, can I have a tissue? You say, may I have a Kleenex? Right? In half the country, you don't say, can I have a cola? You say, I'll just have a Coke. They go, oh, okay. Okay. So being the first is really, really important when it comes to marketing or your brand. And they were the first to really, in the United States, create that awareness. And it stuck. I had this experience. This is why I switched to wrestling. I started out as a wrestler. I had no idea it was a martial arts. I never even thought of that when I was a peewee wrestler as a kid. I never thought of it as a martial art. Never occurred to me. It was just a sport. And then Karate Kid and Bruce Lee and all that shit. I got into Taekwondo, got my black belt. Went to UFC 2 and also had a sparring match with a judo guy who was a roommate of mine. Threw me all around and my black belt was worthless. Okay. So I got on the grappling tip. But guess what? I was stoked because nobody knew the submissions. And that's where I was getting people. But my wrestling wasn't up to speed because I was sticking to judo and jiu-jitsu and had kind of never even thought of wrestling. Well, guess what? My personal experience was the same thing that happened in UFC. As soon as the wrestlers started figuring out the submission side, it was over. I was like getting hammered. Guys I was smoking before were smoking me. But I knew my blind spot. I was like, I'm done. See you, jiu-jitsu. And I went into wrestling again hard. Okay. That was probably about 98, 99. And then I also got involved with pro wrestling, which shaped my perspective. What's up, Keith? Good to see you, brother. Let me give you a wave and a heart. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So anyway, that was the blind spot. And now we can look statistically, the catch is better. Okay, so back to iPad Terra MMA in Germany. Glad you joined us all the way from there. There are other things now. Okay, listen. Leg locks. That comes from catch wrestling. Even Sambo recognizes that who are their leg lock specialists recognize that catch wrestling brought leg locks as a submission into the sport of grappling. Again, this is not controversial, so I'm not going to fucking argue. These are just facts I'm trying to share with you. Okay? Leg locks. I remember a day when I was working with Karl Gotch and people would ask me questions because I was in conversation with him. He didn't know how to use the internet. And I had the first catch forum on MMA.tv. And I was on there and people would ask me questions. And somebody said, ask Karl what he thinks of the guard. So I'm like, hey, next time I talk to him, I'm like, Karl, people want to know your opinion on the guard. He goes, he wasn't nice about it. Don't harm the messenger here. I'm just saying what Karl said. I'm sick. I'm done with getting in beefs for other people, which I did for years, but I'm done with that. I'm a pretty mellow guy. So, but Karl said, he's like, the guard, that's a whore's hold because it looks like missionary position, right? He says, if somebody did that to me, I'd break their legs. And I came back with that. Now, this is probably 2002 or maybe 2003, 2002. And man, everybody was like, oh my God, how stupid, blah, 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 blah. Ridiculing this guy who's the father of MMA, Karl Gotch, cornered Inoki in the fight, in the first big fight against Muhammad Ali in MMA. Okay. Like, seminal character. I mean, anyway, ridiculing it. And now people don't even pass guard. They go straight to leg locks. They don't even pass go. Okay. So leg locks is something. Cradles. Okay. People scoff at the pin forever. Oh, catch is cool, but it has no bottom game. Or, oh, what do I care about a pin? Because you live on a fucking planet with gravity, dumbass. This is why the wrestlers dominate. Because they wrestle to stay on top. And punches come way better with gravity behind them instead of fighting against them. And if you can take somebody down, you can take a lot of piss out of them by hitting them with the planet, with a takedown. I mean, these are things where people get total blind spots. They're not dealing with fucking reality. They're trying to make the narrative. These are the fucking flat earthers that somehow are coming back. But, you know, you can look at like the stars, like when you're in the North Pole and see the sun doesn't set, and you can watch the sun go in a circle because you're at the top of the planet and it's rotating. Like, these are not, you can send a camera on a little rocket up and see the curvature of the fucking earth. These people have blind spots because they're more enamored with the dogma or the narrative than the facts. Okay. And so anyway, Rickson Gracie, who did he say his hardest role was against? Against one of my mentors and a guy I look up to as a wrestler, Mark Schultz, UFC winner. He won his UFC fight. Why? And Rickson has this mythical status. But so why would the god of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu say that Rickson didn't even know submissions? And he ducked Sakuraba, who's a catch wrestler, not just an amateur wrestler. Why did he say Mark was the hardest? Mark controlled the entire match until he got tired. A half hour into holding Rickson in a cradle, and he didn't know any submissions, and there was no Mark Hammer knees to the head from a cradle on that match. He held Rickson like a baby. You hold a baby in a cradle for a half hour. I don't even know if you can fathom that. This is one of the highest level guys on the planet ever to exist, most respected. And he feared Mark Schultz and said it was the hardest role he had. And the guy didn't even know submissions. Just pure wrestling. Now, I've been working hard on cradles because I got caught in a cradle and it woke me up. I was like, fuck. And then my friend Mark cradled the guy. I was like, Jesus Christ, everybody's sleeping on this shit. There's a giant blind spot. So I started putting out the idea of a finisher, a pin that's also a finisher, that's also a submit. Now, Eddie Bravo picked up on that. He renamed it the Twister, but it's a wrestler's guillotine. He admits it. He knows that. It comes from wrestling. Banana splits, spladle. The one Carl taught me that I call the Gotch Twister, where you do a near side leg ride and a far side Nelson, a far side half, and crank them out. So I tried to show people how these wrestlers, how you could take a pin and turn them into submissions. Well, I've been pushing that, and that's why I got involved with Wade. America's greatest pinner ever, ever, ever. Guinness World Record for the most wins and pins in all of wrestling. Okay? Because I was like, dude, I need to learn pinning. So I go to the best. When I want to learn how to do sales, I go to the number one, Grant Cardone. I get involved. I put skin in the game. I put so much skin in the game on wrestling, I can't even wrestle anymore because I got one carotid artery and a broken neck. Because I went balls to the wall. I did everything I could. I pushed it hard. Now, I don't recommend you do that. Keep your carotids. They're very useful. I wish I had a spare, but I don't. But people got to get out of these blind spots. You got to go with what's actually working. Okay. You got to deal with facts. I posted something on my Instagram the other day about the statistics of most champions in MMA are wrestling based. Joe Rogan admits this. This isn't fucking controversial. So that's why I started scientificwrestler.com. Because I sat down and looked at it. After COVID, I was like, I need to change my business model. I'm not having enough impact here. There's no reason why scientific wrestling should not be as big as Gracie Barra. That's my blind spot. That was my big, oh shit. I reset my goals. My original goals was to be the best in catch as catch can. The best coach, the best trainer, the best information resource. I wanted to be the best, and I achieved that. And it doesn't matter, because you know why? In terms of impact and business, best known beats best every day. That's why there's so much jiu-jitsu everywhere and no catch wrestling. But I'm set to change that now. And look out, because I'm fucking on it. I achieve my goals because I know how. Because I look at my blind spots and I try to be open to them. And when COVID happened and fucked everything up, I was like, I need to go back to the drawing board. What are my blind spots? And I do so much coaching, I lose my voice now, so I'm sorry. But so I started scientificwrestler.com, an affiliate program. Go there. I'm gonna put up the banner for the people on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. Sorry, Instagram. I don't have that functionality. You can go to scientificwrestler.com. Okay. Go to scientificwrestler.com. Has the entire deal. If you own a fight gym or you know somebody who owns a fight gym and you want to get involved with the undisputed #1 catch as catch can resource for 20 years, dude, that's like anybody could be #1 for a minute, for 6 months. I've been doing it for fucking 20 years. Okay. Get on it, dude. Scientificwrestler.com. Check it out. And I'm a fucking bomb ass business guy. That's what I'm good at. Coaching wrestling, coaching business. Okay. Because I find the best. I deal with the facts. That's why I called it scientific wrestling. I don't even like the word catch wrestling anymore. It's fine. Everybody uses it. It's cool. But so there's a difference between scientific wrestling and the people who use the word catch to promote what they're doing. There is a quality difference. Massive. So there might be people who are better known than me, but I'm the best. And now I'm going to be best known. But that's where I need your help. So who do you know? Who do you know? The Scientific Wrestler program is not only the best catch as catch can curriculum for grappling, which in my opinion is the greatest, and Billy Robinson and other people, the greatest, single greatest combat sport on the planet. But Scientific Wrestler is also the best ROI business deal if you have a fight gym that you can get involved with. Check it out. Do the math. It's awesome. And not only, so I don't want to go on. You can go read that yourself. I'm not going to turn this into a sales pitch. iPad Terra MMA says, catch has got to get more popular to get the. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. That's where I need you guys' help. Point people to Scientific Wrestling. People see catch from these other people, and they're like, oh, my God. And I don't blame them. That's why I do what I do. Why I get involved with guys like Josh Barnett, Billy Robinson, Carl Gotch, Gene LaBelle, guys who are actually fucking legit, not just some joker. There's no ranking system. This is the thing, dude. Catch wrestling is a fucking prize fighting sport, like Muay Thai, like boxing. Is there a belt system in boxing? The only belt that matters to a catch wrestler is fucking gold. It's to win. Stop with the ranking system. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a shit what your belt is unless it's fucking gold. I mean, maybe you do in your little cult, but nobody else really cares. That's why I never flew in boxing. I'm a black belt in boxing. What if somebody said you're a... Go tell somebody, do this with a straight fucking face. Tell somebody you got a black belt in boxing. Do it. I dare you. They're going to laugh at you. Okay? It's a cult. Okay? I'm not saying that's bad. Some cults are good. Jiu-jitsu is a great cult. Get you healthy. You can learn some self-defense. All that kind of stuff. I have a black belt in Muay Thai. Dude, get the fuck out. I have a black belt in wrestling. No, you don't. Right? So, and even then, yeah, I have a black belt in CrossFit. Listen, you have to understand, it's a prize fighting sport, right? So my mission with Catch, for example, and I do other businesses. I've launched the first reverse mortgage consultancy on the planet. That was my idea. I came up with it. Sold out of my shares. Came up with the mace bell, which is like fucking everywhere. Steel mace, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I mean, if I'd been hit by a bus the day before I put it out, it wouldn't be happening. Period. Okay. But in software, financial technology, I've done this over and over. Okay. That's why I do business development. But my passion, my life's purpose, I think, is actually catch wrestling, scientific wrestling. So my mission is to get every man, woman, and child on planet Earth involved with scientific wrestling, the sport of catch as catch can, as either a fan. You could be a fan. You know who you are. Those are the keyboard warriors who don't do anything but act like they know everything. But that's a fan. It's okay because you buy the shit and you fund it and you make it possible. And you're allowed, because you buy in and you're able to talk shit and do all that kind of stuff. But you're just a fan. Okay? But I want to get every man and woman on earth involved with catch wrestling, scientific wrestling, catch as catch can, scientific wrestling as a fan, athlete. These are the people who actually put it on the line. Take a loss, take a win, take a risk. As a coach, these are the people that help them achieve that. Or as a promoter, they also provide the platform, make the business happen. So my mission is to get every man and woman on earth involved with scientific wrestling as a fan, athlete, coach, or promoter and business person. I need your help. I can't do it all myself. That's why I created scientificwrestler.com. Go check out the offer. It's fucking amazing. Now, it's geared towards people who own fight gyms, because I think that's where I'm going to get a lot of traction. Right? So, again, I'm not going to belabor this point, and I got to jump off because I got a shit ton of other things I got to do today. But the point I want to get to is blind spots. And the first step is just being aware of blind spots and being open to criticism, open to feedback, being coachable. And I think part of that is setting yourself high standards, high goals, big, massive, fucking crazy, big, hairy, ugly goals. Like ridiculous. And you may or you may not achieve them, but you should set them. Because even if you don't achieve them, a lot of times, because again, you aim for the stars, you hit the moon. And if you wouldn't have been aiming for the stars, you wouldn't have gotten the moon. So, blind spots. I think, again, the other thing is you have to have a fidelity, a commitment, a loyalty to facts, not narratives, not dogma. And the human species is very, very prone to dogma. Look at the Salem witch trials. Look at the Spanish Inquisition. All of that, people were murdered with zero evidence. Look at the Iraq War. Zero evidence, and we killed 1 million innocent Iraqi people. Zero evidence. It came out as a fact. It's a war crime. The Spanish Inquisition. Massive crime because we were going after people with no evidence, based on dogma, based on narrative. The Spanish or the Salem witch trials, same thing. This is something humans are prone to. I'm not going to say lockdown, but I just said it. So, like, no fucking facts. And everybody, because of fear and narratives, just fucking acted like idiots and destroyed. You wonder why your gas prices are fucked, why your flights are fucked, why there's no baby fucking formula. You can't blame it on Trump or Biden. It's on human nature, and you're a fucking human, and you got to take responsibility for your own fucking blind spots if you took part in that shit. Okay? Blind spots are a big, big problem, but they're a big problem not just on the macro, on the war crime level, but in your own life. You're missing out. And a lot of it's ego, and a lot of it's narrative and fear. Okay? So, anyway, appreciate you guys. Hope you got something out of the talk today. I appreciate you. Adam, spitting facts. Love it. Thanks, brother. I'll see you this weekend. Guys, get out to, you can meet me, and we'll do some fucking catch wrestling all weekend, man. Come on out. It's coachandcatch.com. We'll work on your blind spots, show you all the stuff I was talking about today about it, about catch anyway, about scientific wrestling. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Head out to coachandcatch.com. I'll be out in Southern California, Pinion Hills, Labyrinth Martial Arts Retreat. Super cool place. You can DM me, L Pantera MMA on Instagram. Says, thanks for your answers. I hope they were good. That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. So I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another episode. No1 Podcast. Thanks, guys.